comments of the video and said, I think I'd like this, I think I'd like that. I'll be honest with you, I don't think there is that much of a consensus on it. But I did get an interesting email that I'd like to read to you today. And I'm going to keep it anonymous. Obviously, don't worry, to the person who sent me this email, there's no way I'm going to read this and give your name or anything like that. But I actually like this email because they explain what they think, okay? So here we go. You ready? Hey, Phil, I want to give my thoughts on your video titles. I don't think you're doing them wrong per se, but there's room for improvement. Your titles tend to be a bit bland and overly wordy. Titles are important after all. There's a reason other YouTubers change a video once or twice to find that perfect traction. I'll give you a couple examples of what I mean. So, for example, your most recent Resident Evil 0 video is currently called Resident Evil 0 Remastered, parentheses, 2024/PS5, close parentheses, playthrough part 9, hyphen, it happens, all in capitals with exclamation point. Bat Boss soft locks my game, no. Yes, that is the title of my most latest Resident Evil 0 playthrough part, okay? So, he says, this title is just a lot. There's unneeded information. It's overly explanatory. It makes it less enticing. It also takes a long time to read, which is very bad for a title. A better title would have been something like this. It happens, hyphen, Resident Evil 0 Part 9. That title is more enticing because it's short, it's snappy, it's relevant to what happens in the video, and it leaves a bit of mystery. Well, what happens? You'd have to watch to find out what actually happens in the video. We don't need to be told exactly what happens, and we don't need things like the platform, the year, or to be told that it's a playthrough. Remastered isn't needed because it's not in the title of the game. It's not really a remaster, it's an upscaled port. So I'm factoring in all this feedback, okay? So let me respond, because actually the email goes on. This is, by the way, if I get feedback like this, I love it. This is so important that I get this feedback from viewers. This allows me to improve. So thank you so much to the person who sent this email, okay? So let me respond to that, okay? The reason that I put things like remastered, the year, the format, and all of that into the title is for a couple of reasons. Number one, maybe the person who emailed me isn't aware of this. I've already played this game, okay? I played it 8 years ago. So if I don't put into the title 2024 PS5, no one would know that this is my modern playthrough of the game. And actually, if you just search for DSP Gaming Resident Evil 0, you're going to get videos from the original playthrough 8 years ago mixed in with videos from my modern playthrough, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference. That's why I put those specific things in the title. Now, you're right. I do think that title is extremely wordy, but I don't know how to get around that problem. If I'm playing a game a second time years later, how do you discern from the original playthrough versus the modern one, right? Now, I just said, Joe R in chat just said, why don't you remove the original videos as you put new ones out? That is horrible. That is one of the worst things you could possibly do. When you remove videos from a YouTube channel, YouTube counts that against you. They subtract total views from your channel. Basically, they'll say, oh, well, since you deleted videos, they don't count anymore. So they'll subtract views from your channel, and that actually counts as a negative against your channel when it comes to things like channel rankings and search preferences. Oh, I know, because there were times where I had false copyright strikes against my channel, and I had to remove certain videos, and it destroyed my channel, okay? So you definitely don't want to delete videos. Now, you might say, well, why not just make them private? Well, then no one can find the original playthrough. For a perfect example, right now, I'm comparing my original run to the current one. I'm watching videos from the original run after the fact and saying, well, how did I tackle this back then 8 years ago? Because I'm having problems with it now. If the videos were private, no one could do that. So it kind of kills the whole idea of getting, maybe you could get some more views on your old playthrough because you're playing the game again. You're shooting yourself in the foot, you see? So, here's the thing. There really is, I don't feel like there is no real full good answer. I do agree that Resident Evil 0 Remastered 2024 PS5 playthrough part 9, it happens, Bat Boss softlocks my game, no, is insanely long. And that's a terrible title. Right? That's an absolutely terrible title. I agree. But what do I do to fix it? If I take out the 2024 PS5, now people will definitely confuse it with the original run from 8 years ago. Remastered, I should say remastered, because there's an original Resident Evil 0 that plays and looks very different from this. It doesn't have the modernized control scheme and is more tank controls. and the visuals are way different. They're very, very old. You know, original Resident Evil 0 was, what, a GameCube game? So definitely I think you need to have that in there, or else you're basically misadvertising, you know, what it is. Now, I could definitely take out the word playthrough. If you guys think at this point, I've used the word playthrough in my titling, seriously, since I started on YouTube in 2008. It's been over 15 years that every single game I've played, I use the word playthrough. That's been a staple piece of my content. I was using the word playthrough before it was mainstream popular on YouTube. I was using it in every single series, and that's one of the things that you can kind of argue is that I was the person who really made the word playthrough way more mainstream in the gaming community. Everyone else was saying let's play, but I always said playthrough. And then all of a sudden, years later, everyone uses the word playthrough, right? So I could remove playthrough, you know, but then the question is it a playthrough? Is it a walkthrough? Is it a let's play? And there's all different discernments between those things. I know you might not realize that, but you could, you know, a walkthrough and a playthrough are very different. If I don't specifically say that, then people might be confused, okay? So here's the thing, you know, I'm being honest. I agree with everything you're saying, but every single thing that I could take, if I take out remastered, if I take out 2024 PS5, right? If I take out playthrough, it's basically taking away from interesting information that you really would kind of want to know. So I guess the question is, at what point do you decide that the sacrifice of less information is more in the case that more people would watch the videos and like it, right? So I guess we have to figure this out, okay? So let's continue on. Next up, a couple of examples you gave in your podcast, like Baldur's Gate 3 Playthrough Part 40, Talking with the Spore People, WoW Secrets Revealed, or WoW Secrets Revealed of the Spore People, Baldur's Gate 3 Playthrough Part 40. You were correct in saying the first one isn't the best. The second isn't either. You're still including a bit too much information, so I suggest just Secrets Revealed, Baldur's Gate 3 Part 40. It's the same as with the revised Resident Evil 0 title. It's short, it's snappy, it's relevant to something in the video, and it leaves things to the imagination. At the end of the day, a good title is something that grabs attention, isn't too wordy, and still relevant to the video in some way, even if it's just referencing something funny that happened to you or a joke that you've made. And that's the email, all right? So first of all, once again, thank you to the person who sent me this feedback. This is very important feedback that I need to know, all right? So, do we do that? Do we start titling videos differently? Do I make it just like, for example, today in the first video of Baldur's Gate 3, right? Do I title it Friendly Mind Flayer, question mark, Baldur's Gate 3 Part 40? And that's the title. Or do I say Baldur's Gate 3 Playthrough Part 40, Friendly Mind Flayers, question mark? You know, or, you know, how do I do it? I don't know. We got to think about this. Right now I'm getting different feedback. Some people are saying just leave it like it is. There's not a good solution. Some people are saying, no, try it. Try the trimmed, right? Views might get better if people don't see this giant bloat. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are agreeing description first and name second, okay? So, maybe... No, I'm definitely not labeling it BG3. Even I don't know what BG3 stands for. If I were just searching on YouTube for Baldur's Gate 3 and I see something that says BG3, I wouldn't immediately associate that that's what it means. So that's too much of an abbreviation. That's crazy. Okay? So, all right. So maybe, what do you guys think? Do you think as of this morning, when I upload a video, I should rotate around and put the description first? I'm totally okay with that. If that's the case, if that's what you think, and you wanted to give it a shot. But I don't think everyone's sold on that either, right? Or I guess the other question is, all right, do I only do it for new games? Like, for example, when I start playing Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8, and the story mode of Tekken 8 and stuff like that, then do I start titling the videos like that? Or do I actually do it right now in the midst of playthroughs? I mean, I'm 40 parts into Baldur's Gate 3, and if I change that, if I change it around now, is that going to be, like, distracting to people who would watch the first 40 parts, right? I don't know. Also, you got to keep in mind, I'm now got a new channel, DSP Throwback, and I'm just about to start new content on that channel. Do I start with the new titling style now? I could, right? So there's all these things to think about, and I need your feedback. I think, Duke says, I think you should leave it as is, either to navigate playlists this way and identify what number you're watching, which is next. PS3 Troop says, do a fake reaction with a big red arrow pointing at something. Oh, they mean like every single video on YouTube? Orange says, if you're searching for Baldur's Gate 3 and a video comes up with BG3, you can figure out what it is. Same for everyone. So, again, here's the thing. People who are already subscribed to my channel, you probably already understand the content, right? You get it. This is more for an outsider who's trying to find it. Like I said, recently I got feedback from someone who wasn't familiar with my channel, and they had just started to look at my channel, and they said, just so you know, just as a newcomer coming to your channel, I can't make heads or tails of the videos. They all look the same because they all look like they have the same title on mobile, and I watch all videos on mobile. And I was like, wow, that's good feedback because I didn't know that. You know, I only see I'm looking from my desktop version, right, on my channel page, and I'm looking at how they appear on the channel page and in a playlist, or, you know what I mean? I'm not looking from a mobile version and realizing how bad it can be over there. You know what I mean?